Kumaraveli sir. Sir, good morning, sir. Kumaraveli sir, shall we start, sir? Sir, your voice is not audible, sir. Sir, admit கொடுத்து focus கொடுத்துட்டோம் சார். ஒரு மைக் ஆன் பண்ணுங்க. சார் எங்களுக்கு ஆன்ல காமிக்குது சார். ரெட் கலர் சிம்பிள் வந்தோம் சார். சரி சார் ஓகே. அவர் ரெட் கலர் அப்படியே போக மாட்டேங்கிறான். லாக் அவுட் பண்ணிட்டு லாக் பண்றாராம். சரி பிரேக் முடிஞ்சோம் லஞ்ச் பிரேக் அவுட் ஆஃப் டைம் கேட்டுறேன் எவ்வளோ என்ன ஃபார்மாலிட்டிஸ்னு கேட்டுக்கலாம் நான் கேட்டுறேன் லஞ்ச் முடிச்சோன்னே நான் போட்டு தந்துடுறேன் ஓகே Sir, Kumaraveli sir, good morning, sir. Am I audible, sir? So kindly unmute the audios. Sir, your audio in muted mode. Yeah, now okay, sir. Now okay. Sir, I am audible, sir. Sir, mic setting audio மட்டும் மாத்தணும். Sir, screen is visible, sir. So audio only problem, sir. Ravi, sir, I am audible.
ஹலோ சார், இப்போ கேக்குதுங்களா சார்?
Yeah, clear, sir, very clear.
இப்போ நான் மொபைல் ஆன் பண்ணியிருக்கேன், ஆனால் இந்த கம்ப்யூட்டரில் ஐ டு நாட் நோ வாட் இஸ் த ப்ராப்ளம்.
அந்த ஆடியோ மோட் மட்டும் கிளிக் ஆகும். இப்போ நான் ஓகே சார், நோ எவ்ரிதிங் ஓகே.
Okay, so we will go ahead. Slide I will control from computer and I will speak through mobile phone. Okay.
Okay, sir. No issues. We will start, sir. Okay.
Yes.
So, warm greetings and good morning to one and all gathered here. It's my privilege and I'm happy to welcome you all for today's session on energy management, battery management system for automobile sector. So, on behalf of management of KPR Institute of Engineering and Technology, organizing team, and my own behalf, I'm very much delightful to welcome and introduce our today's chief guest, Dr. S. Kumaravel sir from NIT Calicut, to acquired BE in Electrical Electronics Engineering under Bharathasan University, Tiruchirappalli, and MTech in Power System from NIT Tiruchirappalli, and obtained his PhD in Electrical Engineering from NIT Calicut. He completed postdoctoral fellowship in the area of power converters application in power system from University of Dublin, Ireland. He has published 30 plus research papers in SEA journals, which includes IEEE, IET Power Electronics. He has supervised 5 PhDs and 30 plus MTech scholars. He has completed 2 sponsored projects and he has received a grant of ₹1 crore from the Ministry of Electronic and Information Technology, CSIR, and National Mission on Power Electronic Technology. He has received a Young Research Fellow Award from the Ministry of IT, Government of India, Young Scientist Award, IEEE Power and Energy Society Chapter Outstanding Engineering Award. Currently, he is doing his research in hybrid renewable energy system, non-isolated DC to DC converter, design and development of DC to DC converter, stability enhancement of microgrid, solid state transformer, etc. Sir, on behalf of organizing team and all the participants, and welcome you to handle the session on energy management system for automobile sector. So, sir, please.
So, thank you very much, sir. I hope that I'm audible now.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yeah. So, very good morning to all of you. So, sorry for the delay. It is an unexpected delay. So, I found around 70 participants in the FDP. Sir, may I know exact number?
So 110, sir. So they will be joined within 5 minutes.
Okay. So, this is a PPT which I have prepared long back, and more than 2-3 institutions I have delivered the same lecture, and I do not know any of the participants have already attended my session. If you see that I am repeating the presentation, please inform me. We have enough work so that I can talk about the thing which I have not discussed so far in any FDP. Okay. So let me give few introduction. I think most probably this is not the first time you are attending. Most of the FDP, they may be telling few reasons. So more than 2-3 years, the topic electric vehicle become hot in academic as well as in industries. So several FDP, faculty development programs, are being conducted by various institutions, including IITs and other institutions. And you all might have attended maybe 1 or 2 FDPs on electric vehicle. So you all know that we are already facing severe problem in the fossil fuel. One side, the cost of fossil fuel keep on increases, whereas in the other side, it produces environmental concern. So when we talk about the present electricity generation and the demand situation, maybe we can classify the total power sector, maybe before electric vehicle and after electric vehicle. So why I am telling like this? Unlike other load, electric vehicle is a bulky load, and it has a highly non-linear characteristics. So for example, if you take battery capacity of a vehicle, it will be hardly 30 kilowatt. So if you take your entire load connected in your home, I don't think it will be 30 kilowatt. So anyhow, you are going to charge your electric vehicle through your home. So when you connect a 30 kilowatt hour battery to charge from your domestic electric system, how it is going to respond? So that's why I am clearly mentioning the whole demand sector shall be treated as before electric vehicle and after electric vehicle. So maybe the number of electric vehicle lesser at present, but there is no doubt that in another 4 to 5 years, most of the vehicle will be replaced by electric vehicle. So how, as a power engineer, we are going to face that situation? So definitely it is a very big challenging task, especially countries like India. So when you get or when you buy all which are naturally present in the vehicle, that is called onboard chargers, we may be using in our home. If you would like to go for fast charging, hardly you may have to charge for 2 hours, maybe from charging stations. So when you try to fuel the vehicle, how you are fueling today using petrol pump, the same situation you may be realizing after a few years charging through charging stations. So my question is this: how to develop a smooth, reliable, efficient infrastructure to power these electric vehicles? That's a big question mark. So at present, you can see every 2 kilometers, at least in city, you can find a petrol pump. But now, if you see, you please locate a charging station, it may be very tough. If you see Coimbatore or maybe any place, including Chennai, you can search in Google Map, where is a charging station? Hardly you can find here and there, that's it. So every utility, one end, they are working towards setting up their charging stations. Other side, what will happen to our electricity generation scheme? So you can notice the major resources which we use in our country is thermal, nuclear, and hydro. So majority you can see thermal. Majority is thermal, especially coal-based power plants. Next one, especially the Western Ghats region of our country and some of the eastern regions, means the Himalayan region, there are mass potential of hydro. So with the help of that, we share approximately 80% of the present demand through these two methods. One is hydro, another one is thermal. So already there is a power gap of hardly 8% between the generation and the demand at present. So how we are going to balance that? That is a big question mark. So you all know that developing or commissioning a new power plant in the present situation is very tough. First one, environment concern. Second one, economic constraints. Third one, social constraints. So environmental concern, I already told you clearly, global warming. So most of the country, they are stopping their electricity generation from fossil fuel. They are moving towards renewable energy. So environmental concern definitely will never permit to start conventional power plant. We have to go for non-conventional. Second one, I said economic constraint. So especially, the recently we have seen the budget. So in the budget, how much they spend for electricity generation? So whether they have signed any MOU to commission a new power plant? No, large power plant never signed. So economically, we have constraints. It is not possible to start up a new power plant immediately, maybe taking crores and crores of rupees. Third one, I said the social constraint. The Kudangulam project was commissioned maybe 3-4 years back, and immediate after commissioning, they were planning to start the power plant. What was the social issue happened? So most of them involved in strike, and they never allowed to start up the plant. So you all know that these are the 3 main reasons which restricts the utilization of, or maybe the generation of electricity from conventional scheme. Now you can see hardly minor share is from those non-conventional, such as solar 1.98%, wind 4.03%. Such a meager percentage of electricity we are generating from these non-conventional energy sources, which are expected to develop very drastically in another hardly 5 years of time. So now I have explained very clearly the necessity of moving from conventional generation to non-conventional generation. Now I'm coming to the integration. Okay, now we are all going to bring electric vehicle so that we can power it through non-conventional energy sources. Yes, that is also possible. Then how to integrate? Now I'm talking to the second aspect of power system. First one, I talk about the generation. Yeah, generation aspect. I think it is very clear to you. Now I'm moving to integration aspect, means transmission aspect. So you all know what is a grid, right? Grid is a very big network which integrate n number of sources as well as n number of loads. So you all know transmission, distribution are the main sector of power system. So one side we are concentrating on integrating sources, then we are transmitting for long distance, then we are distributing, then finally integrating. So now almost most of the customers, they are bringing their local sources. For example, battery. Every customer, most of the customers today, they have their own UPS. Hardly the capacity may be 100 Ah battery. And some of the customers, they are having their own solar PV. At present, the solar PV cost is very drastically reduced. Even if you have 40,000 rupees, you can have the full-fledged solar PV plant, maybe to meet your demand in your home. Some of the industry, they have already installed their own wind plant, especially if it is a wind-prone area. So what I am conveying, the local generators, technically called as distributed generators, are already arrived in the consumer end. So these distributed generators are called as on-site generation. So how to integrate? That is a big challenge here. So you all know that usually we integrate in the 11 kilovolt system. Every source, you go to any power plant, maybe a macro level power plant with a capacity of 100 megawatt to 1000 megawatt capacity. They are integrating the whole power plant in 11 kilovolt system. But now in the distribution system means that the distributed generators are allowed to integrate even in the local grid of 400 volt single three phase or maybe 230 volt single phase. So what is the main problem here? So now when you talk about this situation, it is very tough to realize. As a researcher, we are in the position to address all those issues. Even now, there are limited solutions available in the literature. So if you are doing research, don't not only concentrate in the don't concentrate only in the electric vehicle aspect. If you see power system aspect, there are enough problem yet to be addressed. So assume that so let us take the whole three-phase system maybe as a single network. Let me represent this as a single line diagram. Then you may be understanding what I am trying to explain. I hope that my screen is visible. So what I am conveying here, assume that this is your utility grid. This is your utility grid. And this utility grid is connected to a transformer of 11 kilovolt bar 400 volt. And then you have a distribution system. This is your distribution system. In India, we follow radial distribution system. You know what is called a radial distribution system. So now assume that there is a customer here and he is tapping the power. Assume that there is a customer here, he is tapping a power here. And then there is a customer here, he will be tapping the power. Like that, assume that there are customers throughout the line and they are tapping power. So now what I am conveying from here, measure what is a voltage available here and measure what is a voltage available here. So let me take like this. So let me call it as a distance in meter. And let me call this as a voltage. Okay. So you know that here in the point immediate connection here, the voltage will be 400 volt. 400 volt. And you know, entire load in throughout the distribution system is connected in parallel. So let me call this is the first customer and this is second customer. Like that, assume that hardly I am having some 100 customers. Assume that this is the 100th customer. So you know what is the current through this line? Means from this transformer to this point. Maybe hardly few meters. For us it is few meters, but definitely this network will have some resistance and some inductance. It is a overhead line, short line, so it will have the nature of resistance. The circuit will behave like a resistive in nature rather inductive in nature because it is a short transmission line. So it will have considerable resistance to drop out the voltage. So now the current from this point to this point is approximately I1 plus I2 plus etc. I10, I100. The entire 100 customers current will flow through this point from here to here. So now what will happen here? So this current will be I2 plus I3 plus etc. So here like that I3 plus I4 plus etc. So if we keep going this end, what will happen to the voltage profile? It will be flat profile. So let me draw one by one. So let me see, this is customer point 1, customer point 2, customer point 3, 4, 5, etc., etc. So what I'm going to do, so from here to here, this voltage will drop down drastically. Why it drops down drastically? So ideally speaking, this is like this. I hope that whatever I'm drawing is visible, right? I hope that whatever I'm drawing is visible. Am I right?
Yes, sir. Visible, sir. Clear.
Yeah. So this is ideal voltage from this point to this point. But practically speaking, what happened? From here to here, this voltage will drop down very significantly. Why? Because more amount of current goes through this network. Then from this point to this point, again there will be a voltage drop, but that slope will be slightly lesser. Why the slope is slightly lesser? Because definitely this current will be lesser than this current. Because this current is the sum of all the 100 customers and this current is the sum of 99 customers. Like that, this profile will come down slowly, and when it reaches the far end, it will be a flat profile. So now you may understand what is the real-time problem we are going to face after bringing electric vehicle. So this is the profile what we have, and usually we have a margin. So usually we have a margin here. So currently we are maintaining the profile voltage with that margin, and at present there is no much significant problem. Currently there is no much significant problem. Assume that this customer is going to bring electric vehicle. So I assume that maybe customer 4 is going to bring electric vehicle. So assume that this guy is going to bring your electric vehicle. Okay, this guy is going to bring your electric vehicle. So this 4th customer is going to draw massively a large current compared to all other customers, because this car has the battery of 30 kilowatt hour. So this customer is going to draw a current at rate of 15 ampere for few hours, because this battery will charge for maybe taking 12 hours. But initially, if the battery is completely empty, this customer is going to draw maximum current of 15 ampere. So when he is drawing such a large current, so what will happen steadily? So here this voltage drop is till this point, because this current is going to be here, right? So this will go down further. So this will go down further, and then finally it will go. So here, sorry. Then it will be a flat profile. So if you measure point A and point B, so measure point A and point B, you can see a considerable difference in voltage. Considerable difference in voltage. So what I'm telling you, if you bring all these sort of non-linear electric vehicle, I'm so far only talking about voltage profile. So voltage profile of the distribution system will be a very threatening one. Okay, so as a power system engineer or maybe a power electronics engineer, how we are going to face that problem? This is a first research problem I'm just conveying to you all. So even today, you know that there is no regulatory equipment installed in the distribution system to regulate this voltage. You know, throughout the distribution system, everything is behaving like a load. We are not regulating this voltage. So how will you address this problem economically feasible manner? So you take every research. What is the first objective? Cost will be the first factor. Because customer aspect, they only bother about cost. Customer aspect, they only bother about cost. Whatever it is, they are ready to compromise everything for getting a lower cost. So whenever you try to make a technology, it will be economically feasible. It is lower in cost. Then next one, the predominant factor is higher in efficiency. So customer respect these two mainly. So it should be lower in cost, it should be higher in efficiency. So now you try to make a technology which is economically feasible and higher in efficiency to make this voltage profile as a flat profile. I think in my knowledge, there is no such efficient low cost device is available even in the market. Even to every utility also, they are seeking such a device. If you come out with a device, there are some solution. For example, I'm telling you DVR, dynamic voltage restorer. This is a device which is available, but I'm asking how many utilities they have installed a DVR in their utility system? Not even a single. Why? Costly, right? DVR is already available. The technology is already there, but that technology sometime may be lower in efficiency, not compact in size. So there are some constraints. Try to identify those factors and overcome through your research. Definitely, it will be a great success. So I hope that the first problem of that distribution system I have addressed very clear. So now I'm giving you a research problem. Please look into that and try to come out with a best product which can regulate the distribution voltage very uniformly. So now I'm telling you, electric vehicle is definitely going to come at the earliest. So we are going to face a lot of problem. I think some technical, so by considering time, I'm not going this in detail because 11:30 already almost I spent half an hour in this. So let me move forward. So I did not know whether this and all I have already covered. Maybe in previous of some of my FDPs. Just in a nutshell, I will inform you why we are moving to electric vehicle. That's a big question. So if you ask here, is electric vehicle is a new technology? Definitely you can commit that it is not new technology. Even 1990s, even 18th century also people were talking about the electric vehicle. But at present, the cost of fuel makes every customer to think about a new technology. Simple example I can tell you, assume that you are riding your car for 300 kilometers. Riding your car for 300 kilometers. So assume that your car is giving the mileage of approximately 20 kilometers. Okay, you are giving at the rate 20 kilometers at the rate of 1 liter petrol. So how much petrol is required here? So hardly, I think 15 liters, right? So 15 liters. So what is the cost of 15 liters today? You put approximately 1,400 rupees. Okay, 1,400 rupees. So if you want to ride 300 kilometers at present in your car, you need 1,400 rupees. Suppose if that is your electric vehicle, now Tata Nexon, they already launched the electric vehicle which can ride 300 kilometers. So assume that you are going to ride using Tata Nexon that contains the battery of 30 kilowatt hour battery. In a single charge, the Tata Nexon can give you 300 kilometers. So you know what is the cost of electricity to charge the battery of 30 kilowatt hour? It is 30 unit, right? 30 kilowatt hour is nothing but 30 unit. You know, 1 unit of electricity is very costly if you say 4 rupees. So now 30 kilowatt hour you are going to charge. So 30 into 4 is how much? 120 rupees. So if you have 120 rupees, you can ride 300 kilometers in your Tata Nexon. Can you tell me why not we go to electric vehicle? Right? Now you can think about this, right? So currently we are spending, every customer, they are spending around 1,400 rupees to ride 300 kilometers. You can find the mileage, no? Kilometer, rupees per kilometer. So I think 300 kilometer rupees per kilometer, no? One means 1400 divided by 300. So it will give rupees per kilometer. Now you calculate 1200, 120 rupees by 300. It will be less than 50 paisa, right? So now you may realize why everybody is looking into electric vehicle. Why everybody is looking into electric vehicle. So you may think technically how 1500 rupees expense is reduced to 120 rupees because efficiency. I already told you efficiency. So conventional vehicle, the hard efficiency is 14 to 26% only. I am just roughly taking 20 kilometer. I do not know, some car, they never give 20 kilometer per liter. 10 kilometer hardly they will give. 10 kilometer per liter they will give. But electric vehicle, you can see they have the efficiency of more than 79%. Okay, more than 79%. So compared to this, the efficiency almost 3 times. Compared to this, efficiency is 3 times. That is a unique feature why we are in the position to move to electric vehicle. So at present, most of the sector, they are moving towards electrical. One such a successful sector is electric train. Especially in Indian railway, most of the railway track are electrified. Now they are running through electric vehicle, electric train, because it is very low cost, very cheaper. Okay, here now rather going to the conventional diesel vehicle, they can ride traction trains using electric vehicle. So electric vehicle means electric train is proven as a very good technology in railway department more than 20-30 years. This was proven as a well successful concept. I think I have recently traveled in a train around 200 kilometers. They reached in 2 hours. It was really a miracle and the first experience for me. Now COVID, no, due to COVID-19, every train is coming punctually. I do not know the secret why they are coming punctually. So 200 kilometer, hardly they ride in 2 hours of time. So in between only one stop. So train taken from a stop, particular station, and it reached my destination. The total distance is approximately 200 kilometers. In between only one stop. The total distance they covered in 100 kilometers. 2 hours. It is really a miracle. So now I'm coming to these two-wheelers. These two-wheelers are already marked. These two-wheelers, maybe for the past 10 years, most of the people, they are talking about these two-wheelers, right? So it was not as much successful the way how we expected. Okay, it was not that much successful. 10 years before, most of the company, they come out with their own electric vehicle, two-wheelers I'm speaking. It was not maybe much succeeded. I think you all may know the reason. The reason is battery. So the electric vehicle, especially two-wheelers, which they launched 10 years back, they used lead acid battery. So when you use this lead acid battery, the main problem of lead acid battery is the volume of the battery and weight of the battery. So volume is very, very high. When you see the lead acid battery, volume is very big in size.
Sir, excuse me, sir, please.
Yeah, please.
Your PPT is not visible, sir. Presentation is not visible.
Yeah, so let me see.
Sir?
Yeah, I'm looking into that, sir. I do not know what is the reason.
Sir, you have logged in both mobile and PC, no, sir?
Yeah, I'm noticing here that it is sign out, but I do not know.
Yeah, that PC is a sign out, sir. Again, you have to log in. I think so.
I think someone have. Yeah, now it is coming, sir. Yes. So please allow me to share the screen.
Yeah, we are giving co-host, sir. Given, sir. Okay.
Yes. I think now it is visible, right?
Yeah, perfect, sir. Okay.
Yeah. So sorry for the interruption. I think there's some problem from my side. So when you talk about the conventional lead acid battery, it is really very bulky in size and more in weight. So because the power density is hardly less than 8 watt per kilogram. And moreover, it does not have the property of deep cycle discharge. So assume that you have 100% charge. Out of this 100% charge, hardly you can go to 60% or maybe 70%. If you try to deep cycle discharge, the life of the battery very drastically comes down. So on an average, the life of the lead acid battery is 5 years. So beyond that, you have to go for recycling. So one aspect, it is bulky in size, more in weight, poor in performance. That was the unique reason why the conventional two-wheelers were failed. But at present, everybody is looking behind this lithium-ion battery. This lithium-ion battery is proven as a very good technology in the portable devices, including mobile phone, laptop, etc. So that battery they are bringing to electric vehicle. So the main advantage of lithium-ion battery is they have the power density of hardly greater than 150 watt per kilogram. So this is the unique feature why everybody is looking into lithium-ion battery. And moreover, the life of the lithium-ion battery is also very, very high. So they are assuring that it can be operated for 15 years. Naturally, the performance will degrade. The fresh battery performance you will never get after 10 years or maybe after 14 years. So what solution they are proposing, they can use it in a multiple application. For example, you buy a fresh battery and put it in electric vehicle and use it for 5 years. Once if the performance degrades, and just put that battery into UPS. So it can work in UPS for another 5 to 10 years. So like that, they are coming out with a new solution so that the whole battery need not be thrown out like a lead acid battery. Once if the performance is degraded in lead acid battery, definitely you have to go for recycling. But what lithium-ion battery they are suggesting, once if the performance is slightly going down, you cannot use it in electric vehicle. So now you shift to UPS. So UPS, you can use it as a backup, maybe for another 5 to 10 years. So in that, when you sell the battery, at least you will get some considerable amount of money. So with the help of that, you can buy your new battery with a top up of nominal charge. So two-wheeler already we have noticed, especially places like Kerala, there are three-wheelers coming up very drastically. and there is no doubt that these light vehicle definitely will play a major role in near future. And this vehicle particularly is already proven as a good solution in places like Delhi, Rajasthan, and Jaipur, and these places and all. This type of vehicle proven as a very good technology to a common man. So finally, every technology, if it benefits a common man, it will be a great success in any society. So in that case, these three-wheelers definitely will be closer to common public. So they will definitely getting benefited economically as well as environmentally. So now the entire world is looking into this electric car. Entire world is looking into this. So I told you there are some companies already they launched their vehicle, including Tata Nexon, Hyundai, maybe Suzuki also launching soon. Like that, every vehicle they are moving towards the electric vehicle. I guess that they also will come very soon to the electrical market, and they will definitely will provide a reliable at the same time low cost electric vehicle. So if you compare the cost, I think considerably very high. So I guess the Tata Nexon approximately cost around 17 lakh rupees, and the same performance diesel vehicle or petrol vehicle may be afforded at the cost of 10 lakh. So if you see the cost difference, approximately it is high, and doesn't mean that you have to buy it immediately. So why I'm telling you that it can ride for 300 kilometers, right? Then only you can save approximately 1,200 rupees. That calculation already I have made. So if at present, if you go ahead with this, if you are a regular customer who utilize the car at least 200 kilometers per day, it will be economically viable. Otherwise, it is not economically viable. Two aspects it is based. One aspect, after buying such a 17 lakh rupees electric vehicle and just hardly riding 20 kilometers, 30 kilometers in a day, you will never get the money back. Second one, at present, there is no concept called V2G and G2V. I do not know how many of you know V2G and G2V. This is called vehicle to grid, grid to vehicle. So you all know that what is the load profile of any typical country. It will be like this. Assume that this is midnight, and this is morning peak, and there will be evening peak. So this is time, and this is power. So this is the power profile of any society you can take. So there will be a peak in the morning, and there will be a very big peak in the evening. So this is the load profile I'm speaking. So if you try to power these type of load profile using the conventional thermal generator, assume that PG1 plus PG2 plus PG3, etc. I think I'm moving towards unit commitment problem. I think you all know as a power system engineer what is called a unit commitment problem. So you have to come out with the average load of this much. Okay, you can see if this is the average load, and how many plants will be turned on, you can see. So here most of the plants will be shut down, and here some of the plants will be turned on. Again some of the plants will be shut down, again some of the plants will be turned, here more plants to be turned on. You can notice the profile, no? So when you correlate these type of switching strategy with a planned load factor, you know what is called a planned load factor. Planned load factor should be closer to 1. Then only you can run the generator, especially in the profit region. Otherwise, it will incur more loss. So, with the help of this vehicle to grid, there are many methods available to make this profile as a flat profile. I'm not going to that depth. Please study by yourself. So, how to use electric vehicle battery? How to use massive capacity of electric vehicle battery to perform that valley filling, right? I think there is a concept called valley filling concept. So V2G means power is going from vehicle to grid. G2V means power is going from grid to vehicle. This concept is a very good concept. What it conveys, whenever the demand is less, turn on your battery and charge your battery. Whenever the demand is more, just pump to the grid. Buying at lower price, selling at higher price. I do not know, some participant turn on their mic. Please turn off the mic. Are the problem from my side? I do not know what is happening. So organizer, please help me.
Sir?
Sir?
Yeah, I think some participants turn on their mic, I guess.
Yeah, we will take care, sir. No problem.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. So when you move to this type of value filling, this vehicle to grid and grid to vehicle will be a very successful concept. So why I'm telling you, buying at lower price and selling at higher price can produce a revenue generation, right? So you can generate some additional revenue. So what I'm telling you, this electric vehicle is going to be your investment. Suppose if you buy your electric vehicle for 17 lakh rupees, maybe you are not going to use the car 24 hours in a day. Hardly you may be using the car for 1 or 2 hours, that's it. But either in maybe in your home or maybe in your office, the car will be parked. So rather parking the car, just to plug your car, finished. In your home or maybe in your office, definitely there will be electric grid. Just to plug your car, that's it. So what can you do? Once if you plug the car, V2G, G2V operation can be enabled so that one side, the whole car can be utilized. I think especially in Indian road, most of the vehicle, more than 80% vehicle are underutilized. I think all of you may understand what I'm trying to say. Suppose if you have your car, you go and check your car, how much kilometer you have ridden. Maybe you might have bought a car 10 years before. Now, if you go and check how much kilometer you have ridden, I don't think hardly more than 50,000, 60,000 kilometer. So in a year, at the rate of 5,000 kilometer only, you are riding your car. What it means? Poor utilization. Company
Sir? Sir, your voice is not audible, sir.
to be and generate additional revenue. Okay. So am I audible now?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. So rather simply wasting your car or simply keeping your car idle, utilize the maximum capacity of the battery to perform V2G and G2V operation so that what can you do? You can generate additional revenue. Your car is going to be your investment, not as an expenditure. At present, your diesel car or petrol car is really a liability because once if you buy a new car, maybe within a year or within a month, if you sell, you have to bear the major portion of that invested money. But whereas the electric vehicle is going to be, you're going to turn as your investment. So definitely it will be a win-win situation. So I think time is almost closer to 12:30. Please, organizer, tell me at what time I have to stop.
Sir, by 1 o'clock.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So if you have any doubt, participants, please feel free to interact. I do not know how far I have conveyed the technical content to you. If you have any doubt, please you can arise at now.
Participants, if you have any queries, you can interact with the resource person.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
When electrical vehicles will be connected across the supply system, at that time,
Yeah.
for few vehicles, and their batteries are getting charged in few minutes also, 10 minutes or 1 hour. So they will draw the impulsive power from the supply system. In that case, there will be the huge disturbances to the load curve. So how to manage
sir.
load
Yes.
curve? So that will be the big issue for the supply companies, electric power supply companies.
Yeah.
So in that direction, what type of work is going on?
So definitely, whenever the customer or whenever the car is charged in the local electricity network, they are supposed to use slow chargers. It takes hardly 12 hours to charge their battery. So the current will be slightly above the normal current. That's what I have mentioned. If you try to use a 30 kilowatt hour battery, the current drawn by the battery from zero discharge, zero SOC to 1 SOC at the rate of 14 ampere. If it is closer to SOC of 1, it will take 2 ampere or 3 ampere. So I don't think that current is going to create a massive impulse problem in the network.
But sir, how is the charging curve for the energy storage devices? Initially, they draw more current.
No, there is a limit on that. That's what I'm telling you. Single phase electric grid, maximum current is 15 ampere only they can draw from the line.
But people are not coming ahead to purchase such a car.
No. I
because
think the chargers, onboard chargers are only provided with that facility. They cannot draw more current, especially in the onboard chargers I'm speaking.
in that case, charging time will be in hours. Whereas people are expecting
On an
charging.
average, it is 12 hours. Yes.
But people are expecting a few minutes.
No,
so if they're
not minutes, sir. Actually, I do not know any technology available at present to charge.
right now it is
30
available
kilowatt hour
in
battery
China.
2 minutes.
In China, the vehicle is
Okay.
getting charged in 10 minutes. So what will be the flow of power or current in such a cases?
Sir, actually, these type of chargers are known as flash chargers. These type of chargers are known as flash chargers. I think recently I have conducted an FDP and Professor B.G. Fernandez from IIT Bombay delivered a lecture. In his lecture, I have listened to that. He developed a charger which is working in 11 kV system.
Okay.
So what I understood from his presentation, such a large capacity flash chargers can be charged directly from 11 kV system.
So that will be possible at charging station. Installation of such a charger.
I guess it is possible, sir, because I understood from his presentation that he developed a converter topology in such a way that even a bus or truck, anything can be charged from 11 kV system. I think we have uploaded the video presentation in NIT Calicut website. So please look into that and you will get more idea, especially to handle fast chargers. They are called flash chargers. And as you said, I do not know whether it is few minutes. I think it may be available in charging stations. Hardly 2 hours it will take, I guess.
The fast charging record is in 10 minutes, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir, for your information. I do not know. Sorry.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So, is there any other question, please? So in fact, I myself is working in slow chargers. In NIT Calicut, we have a strong research group. and I am working hardly in slow chargers, especially for electric vehicle with electric, maybe light powered electric vehicle, not more than 1500 watt. So we have published several transactions. In fact, I guess in my count, I have 9 IEEE transactions till date. You can look into some of my publications so that you can understand. So let me move forward. Not more than half an hour I will take. Electric vehicle really attracted much because of its construction. The main part is battery and motor and the driving mechanism. That's it. So when you look into the power converters, there are different power converters strategies are there, like AC to AC, AC to DC, DC to DC, DC to AC. The selection of power converter has to be done very carefully. Because, say for example, one typical calculation I can do here, assume that you have a 48 volt battery and you have something like a 400 volt or 300 volt induction motor. Because nowadays, including Tesla, there are many companies, they are coming out with the induction motor. Because induction motor is very rugged in construction, a common man can repair it. So rather going to special machine, electric vehicle, especially attempts are made towards induction motor. Of course, BLDC is proven as a very good technology, but only in the light powered electric vehicle, not in heavy vehicle. Heavy vehicle, maybe PMSM they are using, and this induction motor they are using. So for example, assume that you are going to use induction motor in your electric vehicle with a 400 volt system, and you have a 48 volt battery. So when you look at very closely, what type of charging mechanism you have a 3-phase induction motor. So when you power this 3-phase induction motor from battery, definitely you have to use inverter. So there will be a DC to AC conversion. Here you need 400 volt supply. When you have when you provide 400 volt supply in the AC system, this is 3-phase AC, line frequency of 50 hertz, and hardly you have a DC link here, and this DC link should be charged approximately 800 volt DC. So this is plus and minus, and this side you have only 48 volt battery. So when you try to have 48 volt battery, so how can you power it? So that is a big challenge, right? So one aspect what you can do, again I am coming to the isolated and non-isolated topology, and now itself I am telling you, I am going ahead with the non-isolated topology. Okay, so I'm just going ahead with the non-isolated topology. So if you want to provide 800 volt 800 volt DC, definitely you should use a DC-DC converter, because I told you that this side I am going to use the battery of hardly 48 volt. So you can name which converter can provide 48 volt DC to 800 volt DC, right? Definitely boost converter. So shall we use a conventional boost converter? Shall we use a conventional boost converter? You all know what is a conventional boost converter. There will be an inductor, and there will be a switch, and there is a diode, and here. So my question, shall we use this converter? Shall we use this converter to provide 800 volt from 48 volt? Is it possible? Is it possible? If there is any answer from chat box, extremely sorry, I could not see the chat box. So organizer, please help me. Any answer you get from chat box? Oh, sorry. No answer I'm getting
No
from
answer,
chat box.
no answer.
Okay. Whether participants are there in line?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So it is not possible. It is not possible if you take a boost converter. If you take a boost converter, assume that this is your duty ratio. This is your output voltage. Though ideally speaking, you know that Vs by 1 minus d is the gain. When d is equal to 0, the curve starts from here. And when d is equal to 0.5, it will be 2 times. It will be here. And when it is 80 times, 80%, it will be 5 times. It is here. So I think when I draw, it will be looking like a linear curve, right? It is not linear curve. It is highly non-linear curve. It will be highly non-linear curve. Okay. So 0.5, it is 2 times. 0.8, it is 5 times. 0.9, it will be 10 times. Okay. It will be very, very, very high. If you put it here, you can understand. This is 10 times. This is 10 times. This is 5 times. This is 2 times. Okay. So this is ideal. Okay. That's what I am using the term ideal. So ideally, the converter can produce the gain of 10. Means what? So 48 volt can be converted into 480 volt. But technically speaking, when you try to have inductor, there is a parasitic element. So this parasitic element hardly 50 milliohm. You may think that this 50 milliohm is looking small. It is not small, first of all. Why I am telling you? Assume that you are going to give 1 kilowatt power. If it is 1 kilowatt power, hardly the current will be 1.5 ampere. Okay. So if this is 1.5 ampere, what is your expected current here? So the gain is approximately how much? So 800 by 48. Let me put 50 for simplification. It is approximately how much? 15 or 16. So 16 times 1.5, 16 times 1.5, it is approximately 24 ampere. So if the current is 24 ampere here, 24 ampere here, you can see what will be the power loss of the inductor. So 24 into 50 milli. I think if you have a calculator, you can compute. Yeah. So it is going to be 1.2 volt. Your 1.2 volt of the supply is getting dropped down here itself. Another problem I'm telling you, power loss. So when you go ahead with the power loss, I think I said 24 ampere. So 24 into 24 into 50 into 0.001. You can see 28.8 watt. So 28.8 watt, 28.8 watt. Okay. So 28.8 watt will be wasted only in the inductor itself. So ideally the curve is like this. Practically if you draw, the curve will start here and gradually it goes, then it will come down, then it will be 0 at 1. At 1, it will be 0. So the maximum gain you will get hardly at 80% or less than that. This maximum point is decided by your load. If your load is very, very high, this point will come down very drastically. So boost converter can provide the ideal gain only in the very light loading condition. So what I'm telling you, the conventional boost converter, definitely you cannot use it. So you have to go for high gain DC-DC converter. So now I'm telling you, is it single side power flow? No, it is a bidirectional power flow. So I'm telling you, lot of research work is going on in this area, especially power electronics for electric vehicle. So we have made several attempts at NED Calicut. Shortly, I do not know this work. Many times I have presented. So this work I will try to talk because this paper recently accepted in IEEE Journal of Emerging and Selected Topics in Power Electronics. So this paper is really a very good paper. If you have time, please download my paper and you can look into that. This work was done in association with one of my PhD students who completed last year. It's called Guru Kumar. So in this converter, we have made attempts to achieve objectives like developing a dual input, single output DC-DC converter with lower component count to perform different modes of operations. In fact, here we perform 6 modes of operations. And then even though it has a lesser component, we are ensuring that it is trying to perform with high efficiency. So we ensure that lesser number of components or devices involved in each state of operation. And I already told you it should have the capability to achieve more voltage gain. That is also we have tried. And then we have tried bidirectional power flow. So you all know that, especially in certain mode in electric vehicle, we need a bidirectional power flow. For example, charging from grid, we need bidirectional. Powering battery, bidirectional. If it is a motor, it should be bidirectional. Why? Because during regenerative braking, you have to retrieve the power back. So that is the main research problem we have taken and we have addressed well in that research paper. So in fact, that paper was initially communicated to IEEE transaction on electric vehicle system. And after a revision, the paper was rejected. The main comment they criticized on relays. You can see that we have used 3 relays to perform the different 6 modes of operation. We have used solid state devices like diodes and IGBT, sorry, MOSFETs. In fact, we have used MOSFETs also here. And the switch without anti-parallel diode, we preferred IGBT switches. What criticism we have received in the first paper, which was communicated to electric vehicle, means vehicular technology, IEEE transaction on vehicular technology is on relay. Because you all know that, I guess that the voltage, what we have considered here is 220 volt DC. So when the relay is in off position, the maximum voltage appear across the relay is 220 volt. So first of all, the availability of 220 volt DC relay is not there in the market. Second one, which is bulky in size. We do not know because the reviewer much criticized on the utilization of relay and the performance of relay, but similar type of questions we got in the second time when we communicated the same paper with a slight modification to IEEE Journal of Emerging and Selected Topics in Power Electronics. But though 3 reviewers were there, and one reviewer given good performance, good comments, and second reviewer almost given more comments, but he was positive. Third reviewer highly discouraged and against the concept. He told that this is in fact a conventional DC-DC converter. Like that, he criticized a lot. I think he's recording. I think if you turn off the record, I can please turn off the record so that I can share the comment what I have written. So it will be useful to you when you define your paper. I organize Hello, sir. Now I'm audible.
Sir, audible, sir, audible.
Yeah. So could you please stop the record? Is it possible?
Sir, recording we have to upload to Airtel, sir.
Yeah, you can pass it and you can regain within few minutes. Is there any restriction? You that the gain is a main factor of this proposed topology, which is achieving 15 times the input voltage. So these are the main achievements what we have promoted compared to the existing converter. The conduction loss is significantly reduced, and also the switching loss. These are the many main predominant losses which is focused in any DC-DC converters, also in the heat sink design. So what finally we have conveyed, the proposed converter uses lesser number of components and achieve more voltage gain. At the same time, it operates in the lower duty ratio region, and then it gives very good efficiency compared to the conventional DC-DC converters. So hardware has been fabricated successfully in our laboratory environment based on the components available here, and then we have proved with all the performance analysis as well as comparative study. So this was one of the recent work which we have done at NIT Calicut. So I do not know how far I have covered in this FDP. So at the end, I am coming to the conclusion. So the given time of 1.5 hours, I do not know how far I have conveyed the message to you all. So thank you all of you. So I really appreciate the effort of the organizers to conduct this faculty development program and providing opportunity to me. Also, thank you to all the participants for patient listening. If you have any doubt, please ask me so that I can clarify the doubt if really I am master in that area. Okay.
Participants, if you have any queries, kindly interact with the resource person, please. I'm repeating, participants, if you have any queries, so kindly interact with the resource person and get benefit. So I hope there is no further queries. So token of appreciation brings out the excellence with us in this delightful occasion on behalf of management of KPR Institute of Engineering and Technology, on behalf of organizing team and my own behalf. I thank our today's resource person, Dr. S. Kumaravel sir from Calicut, who has shared his wide research experience in the area of power system and grid connected system with the EV and V2 V and V2G. So thank you so much for sharing your wide experience in this right occasion, sir. So thank you so much. I thank all the participants who have patiently listened this session. So thank you so much for your participation. Happy learning. Thank you. So thank you so much, sir.
Yeah. Okay, sir. Thank you very much. And
Thank
I'm
you, sir.
signing
Thank
out
you.
here. Okay. See you.
Thank you, sir. You can wind up. Thank you, sir. So participants, the next afternoon session will be start by 2 p.m. So thank you so much.